So all throughout my life, I've been really interested in writing fantasy novels. I've written three fantasy novels at this point in my life. Well, I think I started when I was like 11, and then I went when I was like 13, and then and like I've been writing on this other one, this new one, for literally years, right? Also, at the beginning of this year, I started getting really into online drop shipping, really getting into the realm of okay, I want to start learning about money. Also, at this point in time, I was an avid basketball player trying to play in college, a D1 college at that. So I was writing my book, being an athlete, and then trying to learn a lot about money, right? I had a lot of conflicting views, a lot of conflicting ideas that were floating around in my mind. I thought that I would be able to do all three and perform very well in all three, which is just obviously not the case. You cannot be your best at something if it is not your main focus. And so I came to a hard choice. Do I continue writing this book that I've been writing on for 2 years at this point? I'm on the final draft of kind of writing it out, but I was still gonna have to edit it a couple of times. And I was debating like, okay, am I gonna get like actually publish this thing, or is it just gonna be like something for me? I'm also trying to be like literally a very good basketball player, overthinking it to the point to where I'm starting to play worse on the court because I'm just like I'm so in depth in the game. And then I'm also trying to look into online business like drop shipping. And so I have all these things in my mind constantly. What was going to be my focus? What was I going to give up, really? That was a choice. What was I going to give up to pursue something else? And my ego held me back for such a long time. Because for one, my ego was telling me that I could do all three. And for two, I had the outside pressure from other people, the outside expectations from other people. Like, if I stopped writing this book, they're going to be disappointed in me. When in reality, they're not going to be. But I had this belief that, oh, if I don't write this book, I'm letting people down or whatever. I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. And so that held me back. And I continued to have this like three-way thing of focuses: basketball, business, writing my book. You really have to dissect and optimize where you spend your time because truly, I didn't like hearing this, and you probably don't like hearing this either. There is only so much time in a day. And when you're doing something that is so mentally draining, like I don't know if you understand that, like writing a fantasy novel where you are literally inventing the world and like how things work, it is so draining. So you could sit down for 2, 3, 4 hours, write 2,000 words, and bro, you don't feel like doing anything after. It is like I used to write in the morning, bro. It was so hard to actually like get up and say, okay, now it's time to go lift weights. Now it's time to go play basketball. And I didn't have the mental strength, the brain points anymore to go and do that. And brain points are something I'll probably explain in another video, but like brain points, just think of it like in a game. Like in a game, you only have so much energy, right? Every time you do something, like even just thinking uses up brain points, and you only have so much brain points in a day. So when I'm doing like a hard task, like writing a fantasy novel, it's using so many of my brain points to where like, say it takes 80 brain points to go and lift weights, but I spent 150 brain points writing my book, and say I only get 200 brain points a day. I no longer have enough energy and brain power to actually say and like have the discipline to go lift weights. And so eventually, after just being cornered eventually by my ego, I had to really make the choice. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to give up? Something has to change because I was literally feeling mentally fatigued. And finally, I decided I'm gonna put my book away. I rationalized it because I can pick up writing that book and write fantasy books literally at any point in my life. I won't always be 15, and I won't always be 15 and be able to read these books and actually focus on business at a young age. Like, I won't always be at a young age, right? And so, do I want to be a millionaire young, or do I want to finish writing this fantasy novel, or do I want to be a D1 basketball player? And then eventually, I came to the same problem with basketball. My ego was holding me back. Like, oh man, I've told everybody that I want to be a D1 basketball player, and oh man, how do I stop doing that? No, 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 I still want to go to college, but it's like, oh man, if you go to college, you have to pay a ton of student loans, and eventually I had to weigh up the consequences of what I was saying that I was going to do. and the benefits. And eventually I kind of came to the same conclusion, like basketball is not going to be my life forever. I'm always going to need to make money. I'm always going to want to be a millionaire. I'm not always going to be a basketball player because I'm not going to go pro in basketball. So I had to make that choice. And again, I had to make the hard choice and say, I'm not going to college. Chris Williamson talks about this. If you don't know who Chris Williamson is, he's widely known for his podcast. Talks a lot about testosterone and stuff. And he gives this analogy of most men are climbing a mountain, and they climb this mountain and they climb this mountain. But once they get to the top, they realize that they've been climbing the wrong mountain. And the actual mountain that they need to be on is over there. And so you have to go back down the mountain and start climbing another one. And that's kind of, I feel like this relates to what I'm saying here is like, stop climbing these mountains that aren't related to the actual mountain that you need to be climbing. And I feel like more of my purpose, more of my mission in life is going to correlate and benefit from me being a millionaire young and actually being a millionaire and having this money. Like what I see myself accomplishing in this life requires me more to have a lot of money than to necessarily be the best basketball player or to be a fantasy writer, an author. Do I think I will be an author one day? Absolutely. Do I think I will write many books one day? Absolutely. Will they be about fantasy? Maybe. Maybe not. It depends on where my life is. But that's not the point. The point is that goals will change. And don't allow your ego to hold you back because it will hold you back. Stop climbing the wrong mountain. The actionable step that you can take right now is just analyze your life. Analyze the goals that you're chasing right now. If you're around my age, it's probably sports, or maybe it's your studies. And then maybe you're also trying to chase online business and financial freedom. And then maybe you're also trying to chase, like this side hustle, this side hobby, right? Really analyze this. And if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling like you're spread thin, like butter spread over too much bread, maybe it's time to cut something out. And this choice is not going to be easy because you've probably been doing this hobby and working towards it for a long time. That was like me with basketball. Poured hundreds of hours into that. That was like me with writing my book. Hundreds of hours into writing that book. These are not easy decisions that you're going to have to make, but it's decisions that you're going to have to make because you're going to have to make sacrifices and you're going to have to make compromises to, in the end, achieve your main goal. And you can again soften the pain of giving up these things and just saying, this is not me giving it up for forever. This is me just saying, not right now. Not right now. I can write books at any age of my lifetime. And basketball is just not going to be my life for forever. So why not just kind of say, maybe stop providing so much of my mental brain points towards that. Actually reserve those brain points for the thing that is actually going to be my life, which is making lots of money and being successful and working on my business. That is my focus right now. Cut out goals that aren't aligned to your purpose. My name is Charlie. I'm a homeschooled athlete and entrepreneur on self-improvement. Go down, click on the first link in the description and sign up to my email list. There you get exclusive content in the form of videos or articles that will not be released on the main channel. And in exchange, I get a lead, so when I have something to sell, I can promote it straight to you. And honestly, like if I'm selling an online course or like if I have a book that I want to promote, honestly, it's just benefiting you, bro. It's literally a win-win for both of us. Keep improving your life. Never stop.